A 17th place finish, along with securing and accomplishing qualification in for European football next season, is actually quite remarkable when you think about it. Nottingham Forest finished 17th last year. Just imagine if they'd been playing in Europe this season, if they had replicated what Tottenham had done too. I say that by using that word imagine, yet it isn't actually hard to, considering just how good they've been this season. That just shows how it is possible to turn things around, to really prove the doubters wrong. As the start of this season, the majority of us might have predicted for Forest to go down. Ange Postecoglou did just that, proving the doubters wrong by winning silverware in his second season. He even admitted that he'd be doing that. And he did. Can the Australian complete a transformation in the league this time round? Just like he broke the Spursy curse, the curse that is that they never win silverware. I'm not saying he'll go out and win the Premier League either, but if it's another positive season in terms of doing better than what they have done before, then keeping Ange Postecoglou as the manager will be the right choice for Tottenham Hotspurs, surely. Just a quick note real quickly, this video was recorded before the news broke out that Ange Postecoglou had been sacked. Now, a lot of what I'm going to say in this video will make 100% a lot of sense still, so please do stick around and also create some discussion down in the comment section down below. Should the club have sacked Ange Postecoglou, or should they have stuck with him? I'm going to be discussing all of that still in this video, so please do not go anywhere. Thank you very much. Let's continue. So, could there be complete sense in Daniel Levy keeping Ange as the manager, or should the owner follow his nose with what Tottenham's league position suggests just how good he actually is at football management? Let's explore what a funny and odd season that it's ended up being, and what's been the best thing that has happened to this club in an incredibly long time. Be a part of this channel as we build this community more and more with each video we post by hitting that subscribe button, and let's get straight into it. So why did Ange win the club's first major trophy in 17 years? Well, he's a manager who had won silverware previously. 2 league titles with Brisbane Roar, a league title with Yokohama Marinos in Japan, back-to-back league titles with Celtic along with a Scottish Cup and 2 Scottish League Cups, and even international silverware with Australia too. I mean, this man knows how to win trophies. And one thing was certain when we saw this appointment come through the door, it is that he has an appetite to win silverware, but it might actually be the must-known that Tottenham needed a trophy badly, and now that they've got one, it may open up a whole new culture for this North London side. Surely you don't sack the manager who's changed the culture, yet a club with a whole new culture implemented into what was a trophyless club beforehand may now be the perfect time for a winning manager to enter the picture frame. And the classic comparison that we'll give it here is Liverpool Football Club. In no way whatsoever am I saying that Tottenham are exactly like Liverpool as of right now, but it's more of the case of who they replaced when Jurgen Klopp left. Arne Slot had only really put himself on the map due to how incredible his efforts were with Feyenoord. A surprising Eredivisie title as well as runners-up in the Europa Conference League. It was good, but perhaps not Liverpool good. Jurgen Klopp had his horse ready to fly for the new season. They just needed someone to be the jockey who has experience. Hence bring forth Arne Slot. If Spurs went down the same avenue, then it's all well and good. It might work, but it also might backfire. Have they thought about taking another note out of Liverpool's book though? That being the fact that this great historic club has had only 24 full-time managers since the club was founded in 1892. Tottenham were founded in 1882, 10 years prior to Liverpool, and they've had 45 full-time managers in that period of time. When a manager joins Liverpool, the fans, the staff, the players and the whole community all play an important role in accepting and taking in their new manager. They completely back them. And they do that through the art of being patient. And that same art took place when Jurgen Klopp came in to begin with. The fact it took this German coach had done wonders at Dortmund to break that curse for the Liverpoolians meant that the fans gave him the time to build a legacy for himself at the club. They gave him that time for him to do things how he wanted, because they built the trust, they built the faith in him when they saw that UEFA Champions League title come in the door. That first trophy is always crucial. I mean, Jurgen was still unable to win the Premier League due to Man City being the unavoidable obstruction standing in their way. For Ange, it was the Europa League title, way less significant when you compare it to the Champions League trophy, and it probably did have the same effect though, if not a bigger one, for the Tottenham Hotspurs fan base, as this was a like for like at the time when Liverpool won the Champions League title in 2019. That's just on the basis of how big of a deal it was winning a trophy finally again. An actual trophy was going to Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. But let's not forget that same exact reasoning of just how big of a deal it was for the two fan bases seeing their club finally touch silverware again would have been the reasoning behind the humongous celebrations from the Liverpool fan base. That and the fact that they are the most passionate fan base in the world of football. I'm 100% sure on that. The 24-25 season has seen Tottenham's Australian manager put all his eggs in one basket with a single vision towards one route. That was the Europa League. He needed to win that, and he wanted to win that. It was quite clear in January that he had his eyes on it, given just how weak a side he was putting out in them Premier League games. Winning a trophy can completely obliterate the club's old culture for a brand spanking new one. A winner's one. And one to be proud of too. And for this project to now open its eyes for current players and potential new ones coming through the door this summer, as they now realise that perhaps this club can be the club I win medals at. I get a medal around my neck if I'm a Tottenham Hotspurs player. Yes, having the Champions League tournament part of their new season's schedule is huge. It just makes moving to Tottenham a more lavish deal. And for sure, part of making sure the club has a newly injected winning culture is backed, or has to be backed, by Daniel Levy, financially backing whoever is going to be in charge. Like I said though, we saw weaker lineups in them Premier League games for Tottenham Hotspurs, and that was due to how much Ange wanted the club to focus on winning the Europa League. Some might say it was done because, yeah, if them three were sides that have gone down this season, Southampton, Leicester and Ipswich, weren't as bad as they were, then maybe Tottenham would have had a relegation on their hand. It could have been possible. But along with them weaker lineups, I think another reason that we need to understand was down to the club having 10 key players injured throughout the season. For any team, that's a big issue. I mean, we've just seen how bad Manchester City have performed without one player, their key player being Rodri. Perhaps the compliment itself is Ange was still able to win a trophy and deliver it despite having so many injuries this season. He had somewhat the same amount, more or less, in his first season at the club and was still able to achieve a 5th place finish, which, given how Spurs have performed prior to this, was a great start for Ange's first season. Was he able to identify that this club needed a trophy despite if they finished 17th and gambled everything on that, sacrificing a top 4 finish for the club and using the Europa League win as a way to qualify for the UEFA Champions League? And perhaps that opens up many different avenues for the club from this point onwards. Being more competitive in the Premier League, having the depth and understanding to know what it takes to win a trophy now, which could mean an FA Cup title inbound, or it could mean a League Cup title just around the corner, and eventually do what Liverpool done under Jurgen Klopp, aim to win the Premier League as a long-term project now. The first ever for the club, for Liverpool, when they won it in the modern era. And the club was only able to do that for the players, the staff and the fans to all be patient with the project. Are we a little too harsh to want Ange to be out the door from this point onwards? Let me know what you think down below in the comments. The video is not ended yet. There is more that we will dive down, but it would definitely be great to hear from you guys, to hear your opinions on this matter. The Tottenham fans will always share the joy and happiness from this season with the tremendous efforts in Europe. Not, however, for their awful efforts in the Premier League. I think it's now time for the club to react back and finish higher up in the Premier League next season. Of course, that is the obvious aim. We know current and even ex-Tottenham players have a lot of respect for Ange. Pedro Porro has spoken out recently and said keeping Ange would be good for the dressing room. We also know that Robbie Keane and Brad Friedel have a lot of time for the manager too. It does feel if Spurs do pull the plug right now, then they simply derail that clear momentum that's existing within that club right now. It may result in the club crashing down again and having a trophyless season again and just performing badly in the league. That's an average season for Tottenham, and do they want to go back to them days? But this isn't a coach who's just gambling on everything and just trying his best here. He does have a style of play that we need to understand, that when they get the wins, when they pull off them great league wins, when we see Tottenham use that style of play, it's a remarkable viewing. He loves to play with high intensity, focuses on possession-based football, and has the majority of the team charging up the field when the time is right. He also loves his inverted wing-backs, so hearing Pedro Porro speak so confidently about Ange perhaps shows that the team have full belief in the shape and style of what Ange wants is working. I touched up on it earlier in the video, but signings are going to be crucial for this team to try and further on for more next season. I mean, a number 6 to my mind is something that Tottenham need right now. Perhaps even a new left winger. Alejandro Garnacho is someone that may leave Man United, and Grealish is likely to leave City this summer. But perhaps Tottenham need to be bolder than that though, and look to go abroad. I've seen the club have been linked with Leroy Sané already, and maybe that would work. But can they be a bit more adventurous than that? Look for maybe Alex Buena from La Liga, or even Anton Semenyo from Bournemouth. You know, up and coming players that will only look to get better in their own career paths. It feels like Grealish and Leroy Sané have done as best as they can. I don't think it delivers from a long-term picture. Garnacho could still be an exciting appointment if they were to sign him though. And as we said earlier too, Levy backing whoever is going to be in charge is key for this whole environment to be a ruthless winning one. Let's take the context that Ange is going to be here next season. Then he'll need the extra signings, as the Champions League is a tournament that feels a required tournament for players to be at the club for the use of depth. Depth is needed in a high intensity tournament like the UEFA Champions League. So the message should be this: you've seen this club of yours go to hell and back before to try and win some silverware, yet you failed to get your hands on it. You've finally got a manager now who was actually able to do that, to prove the doubters wrong. Surely you need to back him this summer. You need to get them signings over the line, as now more than ever it is crucial to act like a football club rather than a business. If there is going to be a summer where the owner needs to be more football owner based rather than business owner based, then it is now. Who would you like to see Tottenham sign this summer? Let me know down in the comments below. And I think the most important thing here, the cherry on top to all that we've debated today, the most important thing that I can say that could matter for any club that I've had a manager for 2 seasons right now, is that this is Ange Postecoglou's team. If another manager is appointed, then the club somewhat have to rebuild again. Of course, it's then key for Daniel Levy and the sporting director to appoint someone who shares the same belief, the same style of play, if Spurs do look to get a new manager to replace Ange this summer. However, it then just feels we start at base 1 again, like when Nuno came in, and even more to the point, like when Ryan Mason had to step in that particular season. You've already climbed this mountain to get here before. Don't fall back down it. The most important lesson, and something that Tottenham fans need to listen to before they unleash a blow of anger to Ange, is that this still is a project. Rome wasn't built in a day, and for this team to actually become the unbeatable unit that Spurs fans dream about, it needs time and patience. But if you are a Tottenham fan, then you answer the question: do Tottenham need stability and Should they believe in Ange Postecoglou right now, or is this the right time to sack him? This is a game of opinions, and as much as I think Ange should stay, it could be the most perfect time for someone else to get their hands on this new winning Tottenham team. After all, this is the same manager that got Tottenham a 17th place finish. Just focusing on that league position itself, it was clearly and obviously poor. I mean, even if you bring a club like Bournemouth into the equation, if they had finished 17th this season, it would have gone down as a poor season for them, let alone the supposable 1 out of 6 in the top sides in the English Premier League. Can it get any better from here though under Ange Postecoglou, or is a Europa League trophy simply the pinnacle of what the Australian coach can achieve? Let me know down below. In one of my most recent uploads, I spoke about Manchester City having a huge rebuild to do this summer. Please go check that out at the end of the video. And it feels Tottenham have signings of their own right now that they need to get across the line, especially with the Champions League added into their 25-26 schedule now too. All eyes are on them, and more reaction will be happening on Tottenham Hotspurs on the channel throughout the season, and be sure you're part of that. Be sure you're part of this community by hitting the subscribe button down below. If you have liked what you've seen today, then also hit the like button too. My name has been Rob. You've been watching the Footy Agenda. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.